Welcome back to Under the Surface, the show where we talk everything the Bazaar. In this episode, we created a few new items that we think would be fun additions to the game. So let's dive under the surface. All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of Under the Surface. And today we thought we would do something a little fun and we would make our own custom Bazaar items. Now, I want to say up front, at least speaking for myself, I don't want to hear any comments about these are not balanced. These are stupid ideas. Look, I just came up with whatever I could. Okay, I racked my brain and just tried to come up with something fun. I don't know about you, Nunhead, but
I mean, I tried to not make them totally overpowered. So I tried to first think of the theme for an item. Something that it's not currently present in the game, but something that would be a cool addition to things that we all know. But we have no way to test those items. We literally just put all the took all the values from our buttholes. So yeah, that's the deal here. Right. One thing that I wanted to say before I show you my first item is that the images were yoinked from the internet. So they are of varying quality, let's call it. But yeah, first thing I want to show you is mostly about flavor of the item, because I didn't really know what to do with the text, what to do with the effect, but I knew that this item would be perfect addition to what we have in the Bazaar. So let me present to you the Assassin Whale.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
Because, orcas called usually killer whales, and I thought, well, what if killer whale was literal killer, so an assassin whale? So I gave this orca a knife.
Is this part of Vanessa's gang, or is this just a whale she befriended?
I mean, that's an assassin, so he's not a friend, right? That makes total sense. But I think this is some sort of gun for hire, but not gun, but knife for hire, somewhere in the ocean. And this assassin whale can just jump out from the sea, shank you and go back into the depths.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted to give him bandana as well, but it didn't look that great from this position. But what I was going for.
Yeah, and while you have less than half health, this gets 50% crit chances. Interesting.
As I said, I didn't really know what to do with the effect, but I wanted to, do something that is not yet really... Well, we do have effects that trigger when you have less than half health, but the idea was that it has fairly long cooldown, so the assassin whale is sort of lurking in the shadows, and then you hit half health around the 12-second mark, and then you are twice as likely, or well, not twice as likely, but you have 50%, at least 50% chance to crit, and then you can one-shot a person, because the assassin whale jump out of the water and stab them between the ribs.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the Photoshop effort too. I didn't do that for mine, so
I mean that was the only one that I
Yeah, but it's majestic.
It is.
So my first one is not that fun, but I'm gonna start with my most basic one first.
Okay.
So I call this blindfold. It's inspired by knee brace. When you win a fight with this and play, get a random bronze skill.
Huh.
And it's a peril. And I was originally going to have it give a skill the level of what it is, but that would be way too OP at diamond, I think. So I bumped it down. So this would be a loot item, sort of from Curio. It's not really a loot item, but you get it from Curio or somewhere like that. And, it doesn't do anything besides give you the skill, but that can be pretty good. I don't know. I couldn't see this getting a lot of play right now because of Grandmaster, and you don't want to have a large pool of skills necessarily. But I thought it would be a fun little interaction sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that would be usable, at least in the early game. You can pop that on your board during a monster fight if you are, sure you can win. Though, I mean, it sort of is like boomerang,
Yeah.
as well. And I suppose, if you were to get extra 2 or 3 bronze skills, that could be all right, I guess. But at the later stages of the game, of the run, getting a bronze skill would probably be not that relevant. So like I get the idea, but I'm not sure if I personally would use this item because I rarely do use like boomerang or knee brace. I don't know. Like maybe I cannot believe in myself enough to, win with a handicap.
Yeah, I think like me personally, I think I would rarely use this. I could see some scenario where you get lucky and get it to gold really fast, and then you're like, oh crap, I can get some silver skills like early. But I don't know. I think like to be realistically like regularly playable, it would need to
Okay, so the
be
idea would
different.
be that at silver tier it gives bronze skill, at gold tier it gives silver skill, and at diamond it gives gold skills.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. In that situation, I think that would be much better because I just assume that it always gives bronze skill regardless of the tier.
Yeah, I was gonna make the text say like a tier below this item or something, but then I thought it was sounding kind of confusing. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. In that situation, I think guys like Crip, the guys that like to cook, I think would definitely sometimes put that item on the board.
Yeah.
Good
And he would
stuff.
still get 10 wins every time.
Yeah. I mean, extra skills are definitely strong.
Yeah. All right. Let's see your next one.
Okay. I think I would like to show you this one. So this
Ooh.
is Jack in the box, and there's a lot of text here. So let's look at this version because it transforms into Jack out of the box after it goes off. So it has 25 seconds cooldown, and when it triggers, it freezes your opponent items. But whenever your opponent uses an item, this one would be charged 1 second. So like you crank the lever slowly until the Jack jumps out of the box. And, there's this sort of like scaring effect. So your opponent gets frozen for a second out of fear, all flavor here. And when it goes off, it transforms into a Jack out of the box. And then it's a passive item that makes your opponent take more damage.
That's a really cool item. This would go crazy in like Crook Pig.
Yeah, I was thinking about like insanely defensive Pygmalion that would go to Sandstorm because like it says damage from any source, so like Sandstorm would also count. Well, technically like this buffs your stuff in any situation, like whatever you are trying to do, whether it's like giant fixer-upper with thousands of burn, you want to go to Sandstorm. Like I think there would be some form of I'm not even sure how to put it, but like there would probably be a place in some of the Pygmalion's builds for this item. And yeah, I guess I didn't think about Square Pig, but this is a square item, so makes sense.
I mean, even in just like most big bonk builds, I think it's decent because you get a freeze in and you're also just going to make that item do 10% more damage. So
I mean, it itself doesn't do damage, but it buffs, like, I mean, to be fair, if your opponent has like Gavel and they manage to hit themselves, they would, deal 10% more damage to themselves as well. I think that's how it should work. And also it's a toy, so you could get it from Tatiana,
Yeah, I really like the just concept of this item in general. So like the idea of a Jack in the box going off, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that was the idea exactly. And yeah, I wanted to use the transform mechanic that was introduced with the release of Mac because I think this mechanic is underutilized right now. And Tempo sort of promised that they would change the items that were already in the game, but they couldn't use transform mechanic yet, so like balloon bot or the virus, and I'm still waiting for those items to transform because transforming is a really cool thing.
Both my other items use transform, spoiler alert. So I really like transform too.
Okay, so yeah, show me your transforming item.
Okay, this item is a dolly item. It's just for you.
Oh,
Cuddletron.
Friend Eater. Jesus.
I wanted to call it something like crazier, but you couldn't do any more space without it like jacking up the whole image. So
okay.
But yeah, Friend Eater, he transforms he kind of works like several of the new Vanessa items, like the card table or the horse, I always forget the name of, but transforms one friend into a new item I've created, electronic waste, increases this item's cooldown by 4 seconds. When you transform a friend, this gains 100 damage for the fight. So this item, the balance on it is probably not even close to being like good, but here's the electronic waste item. And basically electronic waste is it's going to give additional damage. It's going to transform a friend and then, it turns into small, medium, large electronic waste. And depending on the like rarity and size, it'll give additional damage. But I also figured, and I'm a little iffy on how the transform works, but like, so transform, the way I understand how it typically works is like if Cuddletron has an enchantment on it, like burn, for example, it would transfer that over to the other items. Is that correct? Or does it just sort of depend on the item?
Like what do you exactly mean? Like, do you mean like if Cuddletron has like fiery enchant, it would probably mean that 10% of his damage would be converted to burn, right? Like, is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, but does he when he transforms the other friends, do they inherit that, or is that not typical? I can't really remember how that works.
I don't think so. That would be
okay.
Strange.
Perfect. So my idea was that this is sort of like those Mac like potion transform builds, but for Dually. It's kind of my idea where like you curate the initial set of like items you kind of want, like friends that would be good that you want to go off. And then you can enchant those in different ways potentially. And their enchantments will then, like a large electronic waste with, I don't know, shield on it will now give Cuddletron 100 shield too. So then he will now also shield. So you can kind of like buff him that way, I guess.
But I'm not sure. I mean, they would need to, like, if that item was actually like that in the game, like they would need to make that it can get new properties without being enchanted with those properties. Because imagine cores, like let's say there's like I don't remember, like motherboard, for example, but at least old motherboard, that it gave your cores damage, but if your core didn't inherently have damage, it didn't do that part of its effect. So I'm not sure if
I think the electronic waste would have, like, if it's shielded large electronic waste, it'll be like gives Cuddletron shield and like it, or like it like will say that like it gives it that property. That's the way I envision it working, at least.
Okay.
But
and also, like, in terms of wording, like it wouldn't probably be give Cuddletron plus 100 damage, but it would be probably like your Cuddletron has plus 100 damage. Like, it doesn't really matter right now, but like I'm just saying.
For tempo when they implement this,
yeah, exactly.
No, but also the idea was like he's eating your friends and then pooping them out, and that's the waste.
I mean, so it's intriguing idea. Like, this would be like you would need to have like this Cuddletron to be your main, I don't know, like main damage source of your build, because you are sort of making your other friends be food. Like, you do not really expect them to go off that many times, but at the same time, if your Cuddletron got frozen, then like you are sort of in trouble, because if you manage to transform at least like 2 or 3 of your friends into trash, like you're most likely losing a fight.
Yeah, this is definitely like a single weapon build type thing, so yeah.
I mean, there's space for this, but I'm not really sure how would that work, like in in general, But yeah, I like the general concept of this.
Thank you. All right, let's see your next one.
So since you have introduced one of your friends, I would like to introduce one of mine, and that would be Madeline, or Madeline, however you think it should be pronounced. However, would you like me to explain what MAD stands for?
Please do.
Mutually Assured Distraction. Because Madeline charges all the items and also deals a bit of damage. I at first thought about dealing damage to both players, but at that point I thought that it would be useless to run her, because like she literally doesn't do anything at that point, like unless you have more health than your opponent. But I don't know, like I thought that the idea of this changing the real name, like we have charcoal, First Aiden and Micro Dave, all those guys, you know, like there's always some sort of play on words with the naming of the friends. And I thought that Madeline, where she like has mutually assured destruction in her name, is sort of fun.
It feels like the name of a real item. Like, you know what I mean? The way they name them. So,
Yeah.
you know, like the art.
I mean, the art is, well, a random picture from the internet. I could have used AI, but I didn't. You know, so I think that I don't know which would be worse.
I like how we both went for the concept of like this really nice looking friend that's like devastating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's an item that charges all the items, you know, as in on your board and on your opponent's board. But like, I wonder if that would be actually that devastating. Like, because if your opponent has lower cooldowns than you, then would that mean that you help them more?
Yeah, I feel like you would want to run this in, like, my first thought is like dinosaur build, where you have like 2 items you want to pop off a lot that have like kind of long cooldowns.
Okay.
That's my thought at least, but maybe a Cuddletron build.
That's an option. That's an option. Okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't think about dinosaurs, but I suppose that would be, at least to some degree, usable, because if you eat your opponent's items, you cannot charge them. So, you know, the balance goes to your side. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, plus dinosaurs are the best dually items, so
I mean,
I'm always looking to use them.
I hope they add more dinosaurs to the game, because right now I think we have only 2, like Mamasaur and Dianosaur. And like, where are the others? And also, like, are we supposed to get like regular dinosaurs, or are dinosaurs going to be only like the mechanical ones? You know, like robots. Like, what's the deal here?
Yeah, that's a weird concept about the only like dinosaurs in our world that we see are fake in this world. So I don't know. It's really weird. I almost made Cuddletron a dinosaur.
Arkan and Pearl dinosaurs, right? Right. So like there are real dinosaurs in the game, like in terms of the whole world, but like in terms of items, we only have mechanical ones. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
But they're like anthropomorphic, you know what I mean? So it's kind of weird that both concepts of dinosaurs like exist. But yeah.
Okay.
All right, you ready for my third and final item?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have no clue, by the way. This item's balance is just not good. This is a Mac item. It's a large weapon.
Stuff.
It transforms 5 random items. Oh, and it deals 2 damage. When you transform an item, this permanently gains 2 damage. So it's sort of like one of those items where, I don't know, like Long John.
Is this Wabbajack?
Is it? I don't think it is.
Like, do you know what Wabbajack is?
Is that from Skyrim?
Yeah.
I can't remember what that looks like exactly.
I mean...
Oh, the idea of it where it transforms to random things.
Yeah, because it used like a random spell every time, you know, when you used it. So like...
I didn't think about that, but it basically is. Yeah, that was my idea though. It's like... And like, it's not just your items, it's both items. It's just chaos machine basically. And
okay. I
just sort of wanted something where it causes mass chaos, and then you also get a permanent buff. I don't know what the numbers should be on this, but I assume, you know, as you upgrade it, it gets, you know, maybe 4 damage on gold, 6 on diamond, you know, per transform.
And
yeah.
I assume that transforming would only happen for a fight, right? It wouldn't stay.
No. Yeah. It's just like, any other item that transforms, it's just during the fight. And then, of course, you can transform other stuff out of the fight, and that'll still buff it as well. But, yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think that would be like a silly way to, you know, make your carry item, you know, like how to put it, you know, like I'm not sure how fast would it scale. Like I understand that reagents are easier to transform now, but what would happen if it transformed like itself? I mean, there's a lot of big items, large items that Mac has that are useful.
Oh, what do you mean? If it changes it, like it transforms itself, I don't think it should be able to. That's what you're...
Okay, so it would transform only other items.
Yeah, I probably should have put that. But yeah. Because if it can transform itself, it's so over.
I mean, imagine if it transformed itself into like vat of acid. Like
True.
Or maybe I don't know what's useful, like library.
That could actually be an interesting thing to keep in because like it probably won't transform itself immediately. And also it's still gonna get the buffs permanently, but then it could be you basically have a whole nother build.
Yeah, that could result in your death.
Yeah, I
But
don't think it's a good concept, but it's fun.
I mean, it's definitely for gamblers. And I know one gambler.
It was so hard not to make all these items just complete gambles, but
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, the first thing when I thought about, when you showed me it was Wabbajack, and Wabbajack was just, peak of fun in terms of Skyrim. So this would probably be on the same level.
Yeah, I'd totally forgotten about that. So kind of, it's probably like subconsciously inspired by that, if I'm being honest.
Perhaps.
So yeah.
Okay, so I can show you one more item because I think there's like a cool idea behind it, and I don't think there's anything similar in the Bazaar right now. So this is Shiv, and yeah, it could be too strong, but see here, deal damage equal to 4% of your opponent's current health. So, the first stab would be, well, this 4%, and I imagined it that it would go 4, 8, 12, 16, with the tiers, but the percent there could be changed. But the idea is that it has like diminishing returns, because the current health of your opponent would go down, but it would be cool against like giant pigs because like it would probably deal a lot of damage like every time it goes off.
Yeah, this is an interesting item, and like I normally play Vanessa, so I'm really thinking about when I would use this. I mean, I love playing weapon spam, and I mean this is going in every weapon spam build. It goes off in 2 seconds and it does 4% of their health. That sounds
but it's
fun.
Current health, right? So
true.
The less health your opponent has, it would deal less damage. So like Shiv would be like the weapon that starts the fight, like it goes off a couple of times quickly and deals a bit of damage, but then you have to go to the finish line with other means, because like if the Shiv was your only weapon, you wouldn't be able to kill your opponent ever, well, unless you go to Sandstorm, but like at some point it would go to 0 damage.
I mean, still and like there's so many of the skills now being when like an item activates, it does something. This would be such a good weapon to throw into weapon spam type build. I love this item.
Okay, so but the main part that I'm curious about in terms of your opinion is like, what do you think about items dealing damage equal to some percent of current health of your opponent? Like not max health, but current health.
Yeah, it's a weird concept because like you said, like eventually like it's diminishing returns. So it's really, but I like it. I mean, I'm gonna be real honest, I would have misread that the first time, been like, why the hell isn't this working? But like do a single weapon build with it. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it. Imagine this thing, gosh, just imagine this thing enchanted.
Yeah. I think with fiery or poison, I think there would be place for it to, just stab once and watch them bleed,
Yeah, I could see with poison. I mean, even with like obsidian could be pretty good.
Okay, yeah.
At higher tiers, especially be doing like 16%. It's kind of like that skill that does like 15% of the opponent's max health like immediately. It's kind of like that.
Imagine them paired together and you like immediately just pull your opponent for half health.
The thing that does suck about it though is that the Shiv would go off second, so it would.
Yeah, that's also true.
Less. I mean, yeah, I'm a Shiv enjoyer.
Okay, right. So that's it from me, I guess.
All right. Well, that's it for me too. Let us know in the comments below what you think about these items. I'm really interested.
Yeah, which one is your favorite?
Yeah,
I would vote for Whale. Yeah, I wanted to say that I would vote for Assassin Whale.
And maybe let us know in the comments below if you've got your own ideas for items and ideas like different concepts for items. But I also want to shout out a subreddit, Custom Bazaar, that has like only 100 followers, but they have a bunch of custom items on there. That's pretty cool. And so if you like this stuff, go check that out. And I'll have a link to the whatever you call it, the item creator that we use. Yeah. So if you want to generate your own, But yeah, thanks for watching. Like,
Yep.
subscribe,
Definitely.
and we'll see you on Nunhead's channel on Monday.
Definitely. So bye.
See ya.